My name is Michael Harris and I'm 42 years old. For most of my life I thought I had it all. A loving wife, a bright, kind-hearted son, and a peaceful life that made sense. My wife Claire and I have been married for over 16 years and we've raised our son Ethan together since the day he was born. He just turned 11. Being Ethan's dad has always felt like the greatest purpose I could ever serve. I was there for his first words, his scraped knees, his school plays, every sleepless night when he had the flu. I lived for those moments. But a few weeks ago everything changed. Ethan started feeling sick, weak, nauseous, pale. We went through a series of tests, each one more worrying than the last, and then the doctors told us the worst. He was in kidney failure. He would need a transplant. And soon. I remember everything in the room going quiet. It felt like time stopped. But I knew what I had to do. Without hesitation, I told the doctors, "Test me. I want to donate." I didn't even think about it. I'm his father, and this is what fathers do, but when I brought it up to Claire, she said no. She was against it. She said she didn't want me to go through an unnecessary surgery. She said we should wait, explore other options. But it wasn't just what she said. It was how she said it. Something felt off, like she was hiding behind fear, but not the kind you talk about, the kind you bury. I couldn't let it go. So I went behind her back and got tested. A few days later, the envelope came in the mail. I sat at my desk and opened it, hands shaking. What I read didn't make sense at first. They said I wasn't a match, not just a poor match, an impossible match. I wasn't Ethan's biological father. I read that sentence over and over. My stomach dropped. My mouth went dry. I confronted Claire that night. She looked at the paper in my hand and just crumbled. She didn't deny it. Through tears, she told me the truth. Years ago, when our marriage was going through a rough patch, she had an affair. She got pregnant and she wasn't sure who the father was. She chose not to find out. She decided to let it go. Let me raise him. She thought it would never come up, but it did. It shattered me. And then things got worse. Ethan could feel something was wrong. He became moody, angry, distant. One night we got into an argument over something stupid. He didn't want to turn off the TV. He shouted, "You're not the boss of me. I wish you weren't my dad." And I snapped. I yelled back without thinking, without breathing, "You know what? I'm not. We lied to you. I'm not your father." The silence that followed was deafening. He just stood there, his face twisted from anger to confusion to pure fear. Claire ran in, screaming at me, pulling him away. Ethan sobbed and locked himself in his room, and from that day on, he hasn't spoken a word to me. Not one. He won't let me near him. He won't look at me. And he's still sick, still waiting for a kidney. But now, to him, I'm a stranger. I'm not the safe place I used to be. Claire hates me. Her family blames me for destroying our son. They say I handled it in the worst possible way. My friends, they called me an idiot. They said I should have thought before I said anything, and maybe they're right. But nobody asks how I feel. No one asks what it's like to raise a child for 11 years, to love him with your entire being, and then find out he's not biologically yours. And suddenly that love feels like it has nowhere to go. But I still love him. That hasn't changed. No test can change that. I remember his first Halloween costume, the way he'd fall asleep in the car after soccer practice. That's not DNA, that's fatherhood. But how do I tell him that? How do I help him heal? When I'm now the source of his pain, how do I explain that what I said came from heartbreaks and not truth? That I never stopped being his dad, not for a second? And when he doesn't want me in his life anymore, how do I show him that I still am? How do I help him fight for his life when he won't even let me hold his hand? I'm sitting here in a hotel room, my suitcase open, not knowing whether to go home as dirties or stay gone. Should I give him space or fight for a place in his life? And what about Claire? How do I forgive the betrayal? And how do I forgive myself for destroying the one thing that mattered most? Honestly, I don't even know if I have the right to call myself a father anymore, but I want to, if Ethan will let me.